So we'll start with the variance of teaching. So variance buli kole ki buja? What do you mean by this term variance? Components and elements. If I say I have different variants of this, maybe of this product, mane types. So অলপ simplify কৰি লবা word to variance বুলি ক'লে কি? Put it in a statement যে I have different variants of this product, মানে I have different types of this product or different colors of this product, মানে basically it is different types, হয় না? তো মই যেতিয়া variance বুলি কওঁ, if this is teaching as a whole, now teaching is a whole concept, ঠিক আছে? So teaching or underot there are different types, different variants বুলিও আমি ক'ব পাৰো. So mainly there are 4 types or variants. The first type is what? The first type is training. Training no hobo actually. In the PDF you have training, conditioning, instructing and indoctrinating, right? So the first type we call is, the lower level is conditioning. ठीक है? Then we have training. Then we have instructions. And then we have indoctrinating. So what do you understand by this term conditioning? What is conditioning? Key. What is conditioning? শুনিছানে word to conditioning? তো conditioning বুলি ক'লে কি বুজা? What is conditioning? কোৱা একো নহয় কোৱা আৰু প্ৰীতি conditioning যেনেকে বুজি পাইছা, yes, nurturing বুলি এটা তুমি word কলা. And what else? Putul, what do you understand by this term conditioning? Anything that comes to your mind about this word? Okay, and preparing. Okay, so see, conditioning itself is a very soft word, hoy na noy? Conditioning boli hunile the first thing that comes to us is it's a kind of soft teaching, right? Because it is a variant of teaching, mane this will somewhat relate to teaching. So conditioning boli kole it's a soft approach. So whom do you condition? Whom do you teach softly? Bhabason, think. Horu bacha belago, right? You condition kids aru pets, hoy na noy? So this is gentle or soft teaching. Now conditioning is done to the small kids, the little ones, or your pets. You teach your pet dog to shake his hand, so that is conditioning. You don't teach him very strictly, right? So that is conditioning. So what is the statement or what is the line that is given with conditioning? Shaping of behavior. It is not change in behavior. Teaching, as I said, is a wholesome process, right? In teaching, what do we target or what is our objective is to bring a change in the behavior. Whereas conditioning is what? It is shaping of behavior. Alright, then we'll move on to training. Now when you go for a dance class, your dance teacher trains you. We don't call it as teaching. However, that is teaching. Kintu it has got some specific word which is training. Clear? So what does dance is what? It's a skill. We have already done the psychomotor domain. Clear? Buji paisa? So dance mane ki hoy? Dance is a skill. So you are always trained on a skill. Clear? So this is shaping of skills. Then we have instructions. Now what is instructions and why is instruction a part of or a type of teaching? কোৱাচোন what do you mean? You know what is instructions, হয় না নহয়? Every one of us, we know this term instruction, but when I say it is a part of teaching, so what? Why is it considered as a part or variant of teaching? Jeneke example diyasun for instructions. Okay, yes, good. Like suppose I give you a timetable, all right, I give you a timetable that you should prepare in this manner. Let's say paper 1 you are giving 2 hours, paper 2 you are giving 3 hours, then you are giving some time for revision, then some time for PYQ. So that is a kind of instruction that I am giving, right? Or maybe I will tell you that you have to prepare your PYQs from this particular maybe topics or particular resources. You have to follow these resources, you have to follow these books, you have to follow these questions, these are important. Clear ne? But when I say you these are the keywords, so that is the kind of instruction that I am giving you. It is also a part of my teaching. So giving instructions also means, that's why it's also a variant of teaching. For example, suppose you learn how to cook, right? You're learning how to cook, or whenever you are cooking, your mother comes in and says you do this first, do that first, do this first. So that is also a kind of teaching, no? Hikai ase no, hikha di ase tumalokok je enake kora, or maybe tell to gorom hobo dia, tar pisot tumaloke etu diba. So these are instructions, but this is also what? It's teaching. Clear? So instructions is what? Shaping of knowledge. Hikha di ase tumalokok, knowledge. Your mother is giving you knowledge, I am giving you knowledge. So this is shaping of knowledge. Clear? Then we have indoctrination. Now have you heard of this term indoctrination? No? Indoctrination? Nahi huna? Pompey? Ki hoy kwa? Indoctrination. What is indoctrination? Is it a positive word or a negative word? Indoctrination is a negative term, right? So indoctrination means brainwashing, manipulating. So indoctrination is a negative term. Now what do you mean by brainwashing, manipulating? You have very good examples. If you can give very good examples of indoctrination. Wow. মই যদি ষ্টুডেণ্ট হিচাপে সুধো যে what is indoctrination? সেইটোতো ব্ৰেইন ৱাশ্বিং নহ'ল ন? ব্ৰেইন ৱাশ্বিং বা মেনিপুলেটিংটো কি হয়? তুমি যেটো এক্সাম্পল দিছা যে if a student wants to choose his stream as science, right? But the parent says or forces that you should go for arts. So that simply is not manipulation by brainwashing, right? Suppose the parent comes and tells that see, the students who goes into this field of science has to study so much, has to crack this exam, it is very difficult to get into a good college, all the negative things. In a way that the student is manipulated and he says all the good things about arts. If you get into arts, you can go for civil services, you can be a lecturer, so many good things about arts. Clear? So in this way the parent is being biased, he or she is trying to manipulate the child, বুঝি পাইছা নে? And fix in his head that science is bad and arts is good. That is a kind of manipulation that is happening. So that is indoctrination. Indoctrination means whatever you believe, you try to forcefully yes, you try to forcefully enforce it to others also, and in a way that the person's mind is manipulated. So the best example is terrorism. We just have only one word for indoctrination, one example, which is terrorist or terrorism. Terrorism to kihor opor choli ase, and even religion. Hoy na? Even religion and terrorism both. When people when they get very deep into the concept of religion and all, it's only from there when terrorism grows. Hoy na nohoy? So this is for both. How? Tato to eta knowledge di ase no, tato to hikha di ase, kintu is that something good? Any form of terrorism, see, now that terrorism might not relate to a religion, it can be any form of terrorist organization. Their ideologies can be anything. So the main thing of that leader is what? Leader of that group wants power. Bujhe paisa ne? He wants that power. So he has a different motive. Kintu he is such a good manipulator that he manipulates and brainwashes the general people. Clear? The general people. So that process is called as indoctrination. Got it? That process is called as indoctrination. Now jun bla kenuka dhoronor manipulation kore no, they themselves are very smart. Bujhi paisa? The people who can manipulate, moi jitu observe korisu, in your daily lives you can come across people who can manipulate, who are very good manipulators. Paisa? Kenake manipulate kore?
Like they give us choice between them and the partner.
Between
Parents and partner.
That is also a kind of manipulation. Kintu tat mane ki hoiswa, it is not that negative. Negativity to ami tat noko, karon they try to enforce, but they don't try to build a negative thing mane. Bujhi paisa? Like terrorism is something which is very intense. Our parents, because parents also, they do try to manipulate, but I won't call it as proper indoctrination. Alright, that is mane they have some kind of a self area ta thake no, kisuman apprehensions thake, so based on that they do it, but indoctrination is something very intense. Clear? It's a part of teaching, right? Any doubts? Hey Sarita, any doubt? No. Let's move on to the key behavior and helping behavior of a teacher. We are doing the most important topics first, alright? From where you can expect previous year questions. So have you come across key behavior and helping behavior or variants of teaching questions? Yes? Yes. So these topics are based on your PYQs. First we will complete or cover the most important topics. Tar pisot we will go accordingly. So we have the 5 key behaviors and 5 helping behaviors. So key behavior of our mnemonic to ki use koru. It is simple, which is lights. Our helping behavior of we have made this mnemonic, which is puts Q. Puts Q. ঠিক আছে মনত থাকিব puts Q is also simple আৰু ইয়াতে হ'ব lights যদি pdf খনত arrange কৰি থোৱা নাই তোমালকে arrange কৰি লবা clear so L is for lesson clarity I is for instructional variety T is for teacher task orientation E is for engagement in the learning process and S is for students success rate. Okay, so the first is lesson clarity. Now now see when I say 5 key behaviors, key mane ki, it's the key sabi hoy na noy. So sabi, the key is very important. If you lose the key, what happens? The term itself shows that these are the most important task or the most important behavior of a teacher. So these are kind of mandatory behaviors of a teacher, clear? And helping behaviors mane ki it will help the student. This is not mandatory, kintu if the teacher does it, it will help the students. So first in the key behavior is lesson clarity. Now what is lesson clarity? Lesson clarity, why is it a key behavior of the teacher? Okay, তো তোমাৰ মতে lesson clarity in terms of the teacher, হয় না নহয়? Teacher lesson clarity থাকিব লাগিব. Okay, that is also very good. So we can add it that the teacher should have very clear concepts, right? And after that, the teacher should impart the lessons very clearly. বুঝি পাইছানে? So because it is the key behavior of a teacher, tar mane whatever a teacher is teaching to his or her students, it should be very clear. Got it? So that is the reason I always keep on asking, the clear hoise, nai hua? Because why? That is my first and foremost duty as a teacher, je whatever I am teaching in the class, it should be very, very clear. Got it? That is lesson clarity. Then we have instructional variety. Now what is instructional variety? Instructional variety? Wow, think. See, every time you don't need the content to go through, hoy na nohoy, you can relate it with a lot of things. Nijor understanding use kora. Now you can get 2-3 lines from the internet or in the books. You know, instead of focusing on that, you think, what is instructional variety? Now if I use only my content, if I only give you a lecture on, say, what is instructional variety, then it is all right, you understand things, but sometimes it might get monotonous, yes or no? If I only take the content and keep on teaching. So what do we do in between? Yes. Maybe sometimes I'll ask you to sit for a PYQ test based on this topic, right? Maybe I'll forward a video. বুঝি পাইছা? So as per my understanding, but according to me, what is instructional variety is? কি বুঝিলা? Various types of things should be used, various modes of teaching should be used when we are imparting knowledge. Mane only one type will be monotonous, the students will be bored, clear? We use lot of examples, hoy na nohoy? So that is also a kind of instructional variety. When we use lot of real life instances, examples, that is also instructional variety. Next we have teacher task orientation. What is teacher task orientation? Break the terms and try to understand what is teacher task orientation. আৰু orientation মানে কি, হেতু কোৱাচোন? No, তোমালোকে orientation মানে তো জানা, you had your orientation classes when in school or college, right? So what is orientation? Putul, can you say? What is orientation? To give an overview of everything. And teacher task orientation. Now before entering the class or even while inside the class, the teacher has some of her duties to perform, right? Before starting the teaching, like we have already understood in the pre-teaching phase that there are certain preparations or certain tasks that a teacher needs to do. So even before entering this class, I have to be ready with the content. Yes or no? Prepare. Now when do you get an orientation class? Before starting any course? Is it at the end of the course or before starting? Before starting, you have an orientation class to make you used to the things, right? Or to explain you about what is going to happen during the course or everything. So a teacher task orientation is before, clear? Orientation itself says ke before starting something, we give you an overview. So before taking the class, a teacher should, to complete her duties of planning out all the things. Clear? That is teacher task orientation. Next is engagement in the learning process. So obviously engagement in the learning process is what? like in this class I am asking you questions, right, and you are answering me. So that why am I doing it? In order to keep a check that you are inside this classroom, you are concentrating, right? Buzi paisa? To keep you engaged. So engage in the learning process. I might ask you, you give a test, I might ask you, I might give you a term and I'll ask you Google it. Buzi paisa ne? So there are different ways in which a teacher can keep the students engaged in the learning process. Like we also do this thing when you come up and you make stories. Now creating stories also will also come under instructional variety also, isn't it? So that is also an instruction that I am giving you. So that is a type of teaching that is going on in the class using different instructions. And the last is student success rate. So the sole objective of a teacher is the success of the student. Hekarne moi hodai ko, the success of a teacher depends on the success of a student. So this is the ultimate goal of a teacher. Clear? So these are the 5 key behaviors. Now examot swa, they will not give you, they might not give you the terms directly. Clear? There are 3 ways in which you can get this question. They will give you the key behaviors and helping behaviors. They'll give you a mix up of all the 10 behaviors or 8 behaviors. You have to find out which are the key behaviors, which are the helping behaviors. Second is they might give you the topic like lesson clarity and they'll give you a statement. Bujhi paisa na? It will be a match the following question. They'll give you a statement based on these terms and you have to match. Clear? And lastly, they'll only give you statements. They won't give you these terms. So from the statements, because we have understood it so well, conceptually ami buji paisu, hoy na noy? Eta term ami buji paisu ki hoy? So even if you get statements, you have to read it, alright, and you have to see which are the helping behavior, which are the key behavior, whatever the question is on. So this can come in 3 kinds. Clear ne? 3ta type of question hobo pare. A to content upor base kori. Now helping behavior is, first is probing, then we have using students' ideas, then we have teacher effect, then we have structuring, and then we have questioning. Okay. So what is probing? Have you heard of this term probing? Hunisa? Ki hoy probing? Question? What is probing? Nai huna? Don't try to probe into this matter, koi no? Or I'll try to probe into this matter, mane? Huh? Not interfere, it's not a negative term. Mane, it's not negative, so probing is not negative in terms of the helping behaviors. Probing is when I try to go deeper. Interfere বুলি কলে it's a kind of negative term, হয় না নহয়? Negative এটা হেৰি লৈ পেন আমি interfere কৰো. But when I say probing is what, suppose I ask you a question, you answer me back, right? Then I ask you another question based on it. So you tell me probing mane interfering. So I'll ask you what is interfering? What do you understand by interfering? You'll tell me something else. Then I say, isn't it negative? Is it positive or negative? You'll say me negative. Got it? So I'm trying to go deeper and check your concepts. So probing, teaching or falorpra, it's a positive term. Why? Because a teacher is trying to check your understanding of the concepts. Clear? Clear what is probing? When I say I don't try to probe into this matter, I don't try to get deeper into this matter. Don't try to dive deep. Clear? Khusora boli koza ami. Khusora to negative na jaba, positively jaba. Je moi kinu hoise moi khusori mane sam he bostu to. If you get a term, you keep on searching the internet, you got the answer. Again you have a specific term there. You keep on searching. Research. Research is what? Search again and again. So in probing, what do? We try to go deeper again and again to see the concepts. How much the student have a concept, like what is the depth knowledge of a student on a particular topic. Clear? That is probing. Then we have using students' ideas. Now why using students' ideas is a helping behavior of a teacher? Because it motivates a student. Now when I ask you all, like suppose I gave you an idea of how to create stories. static content khini ase and I teach you how to create a interesting story out of it. So after that I tell you, you give me your stories. So all of you get interested into that process, right? You feel motivated, jama parisu dekhu at a level of motivation ahe. That is why it's a helping behavior for a teacher. Then we have teacher effect. Teacher effect is what is teacher effect? The relationship of a teacher with his or her students. Suppose if I am very strict, बुझी पाइसा, if I am very strict, I don't maintain a cordial relationship with my students, then will you all come and like discuss things with me or share? যদি বুঝিও নাই পোৱা, you will skip it. Let it be, I'll search it myself, right? But if I maintain a cordial relationship, if we have a, if we have a very good like environment inside the classroom where we can interact, তেনেহলে কি হ'ব? You people will be interested. You won't have that fear of asking. No one is there to judge you. So that is teacher effect. Clear? সেইকাৰণে আমি কওঁ ন, এজন টিচাৰ আমাৰ খুব ভাল লাগে। কিয় ভাল লাগে? টিচাৰজন ভাল লগাৰ ৰিজনটো কি কোৱাচোন? Yes, a teacher who is easily approachable, easily in the sense related to whatever study materials and everything. A teacher who is approachable is always liked by the students, right? So that is teacher effect. Structuring. What is structuring? Why structuring comes in the helping behavior? Structure মানে কি? এটা order place কৰাটো. Now if I start teaching aptitude, after 2 classes I move on to research aptitude, so is there a proper structure? আছে নেকি? I don't finish teaching aptitude, I just take 2 classes, just few concepts, I move on to research, I move on to LR. So we don't have a proper structure. So what do? We start with one unit. In the initial 2 to 3 classes, we complete the most important parts of that unit. And then we move on to the other rest of the topics. That is the process that we follow. So structuring is when you structure the content in a way that helps the student to understand the things easily. মই যদি এটা টিচিং নপঢ়াই পেনে I started with the variance, বুঝি পাবা জানো? নোপোৱা. So there is a proper structure, right? So structuring helps students. And next is questioning. Questioning both from the teacher's side and the student side. Student side is more important in this case. Why? Because whatever doubts you have, you can question me. বুঝি পাইছা নে? This is an interactive session. If you keep on questioning, if I am not interactive, you won't question me. So in that case কি হবো? কি হবো? The teaching process won't be effective. তোমালোকে বুঝি নাপাবা, right? So you have to question me back. So these are your key behaviors and these are your helping behaviors. Egita dekhiye gom paisa je this is very very important, right? Mnemonic is lights and helping behavior mnemonic is puts Q. Clear? Okay.